So everybody, this video is in reaction to what I saw on Dr. Phil the other day. I think it was aired on April 11th. A young lady had cut herself mercilessly from head to foot all over her body. Now, our job is absolutely not to judge for this, because this is an excruciating reality for people. I don't have a lot of experience in it, but I'm going to pass on what I know. So let's start with your birth. When you're a baby, you are not born cutting yourself ever. Ever. This is a reaction to trying to cover for some immense kind of pain. And who knows when it happened or what it is. It could stem from abuse, sexual abuse, being physically hit, being verbally abused, being bullied at school, taunted, sister and brother rivalry, anything. But when you have the amount of self-loathing that you want to hurt yourself in physical pain to erase the emotional pain, this is extremely, extremely dangerous. Now, I'm not going to put the video in here to this link because I do not want to draw an audience of very destructive people and haters. And it seemed that on her site, what happened is she ended up with a lot of people that are just angry. And anger, everybody, is a cover-up for what you're not dealing with in your pain. And when you're angry, you're trying to lash out at other people instead of look at the cause of why you're angry. And that is the biggest form of denial, and it never solves the problem. We have to get to the root of things in order to heal anybody. And you can't get to the root of it if you're pretending that it's something else. And that's the biggest damage that happens with these kind of cases, is somebody is hiding behind their pain. The pain of having been dealt a rotten deck when you get an entry into this world is the most unfair thing that we do to our children. But what we're watching unfold all over the map is that this was an intended plan, and that everybody wanted people to be sick and hurt and wounded and injured and broken and sad and alcohol and drug addicted and this, and even cutting. Because when you go to a hospital and you're injured and whatever, and you have to be under care when this happens, they make money. The whole point of why I'm making this is to get people before they do this, because this is avoidable when you face that you're about to do it. When you're about to take an object, I guess it would be like a blade or a scissors, or I don't really know, something to cut your physical skin and cry out in pain, and then feel better that there's pain so that you're hiding behind the pain that's really there. That is serious. But most people don't want to face the pain. They'd rather self-abuse and torture themselves and do this kind of scarring and cutting that ends up with a lifelong effect on you, because you're never going to erase till the end of time that you did this. And this is not what somebody wants to have for a resume. Pain happens to every single person. Do you know that I've only met 3 people in 57 years that did not have physical or emotional abuse and a good childhood? 3. Everyone else suffered something that was residue from what their parents did, and then they inherited it, and then they did it to themselves and to their own children. Our leaders, our heroes, our celebrities, our government, all people have suffered all kinds of abuse, loss, and torment, including me and everybody else. So the 3 people that I know that did not have this are so far between. But the reality is, everybody has something, and something that happened to them that caused immense, intense kinds of pain. What we want to do is move away from self-abuse and cutting. Because cutting, believe it or not, is a cry out for help. Most people that do the cutting, they're not trying to die. Even if they say they're trying to commit suicide, They're really looking for help and to be heard and be visible in a way that people can, make them be noticed, and then someone can see the pain that they're in. A lot of people may not even know where the pain came from. There's times we block out our pain. You may block out a rape. You may block out parental abuse, incest, pedophilia, all that stuff. But somewhere deep in there, under your pain, that's it. And again, the people that are doing this cutting are in so much need of acceptance and understanding that they assume that the cutting is going to be the cry for help instead of their voice. And we need to move towards a generation where you use your voice to ask for help and not be judged. The problem with people that do the cutting and then they have that for a resume, they're labeled something, and then they have to fight forever to rise above the cutting. So if you're 22 years old and you have a history before that, and you might have been an honor student and a talented and play music and whatever you're good at, the minute you cut, your resume is erased, and then you have to start over as a survivor from cutting. And I don't want to judge anybody. This video is to heal and to move us to a place where we understand that we don't want this for anybody coming forward. We want people to not get to this place and to not judge anybody that's had to be there. Because our problem with judging people is that we misjudge them. We're not in their shoes. And then we make them feel awful. And then, of course, they're going to be so lost and lonely, they're going to want to do it again and make a bigger cut and a deeper cut because they're getting the opposite from what they're craving. Every single person, including the biggest bully on the playground, is looking for acceptance, forgiveness, validation, visibility, and love. And they may pretend that's not true, but it's the opposite. And if they've been hurt from a very, very deep place and somebody's betrayed them, they're going to act like they don't want love. They're going to act like they don't want caring and that they're tough and they don't need anything and need anybody. And in fact, that is the opposite. I'm going to allow for comments on this video so that all of you can talk together if you'd like about everything. I want to caution people. Sometimes it can draw you back to be with someone that's had this experience because you're in one place and they're in another. And a lot of self-healing is all on your own, everybody. I believe in every single one of us. It's up to us to self-heal. Sometimes it's worse when we try to interact with someone else that had similar, or they're healed already and they don't get where we are and they don't want to be back where we were. And so sometimes you just need to heal on your own. But all the information we have is the best way to get there. And one of the things I want everyone to know is this is self-sabotage. Babies are not born cutting. There's something between the cutting and birth that happened that makes somebody want to hurt themselves that much that they're hiding from who they are and covering it with physical pain and trying to cry out saying something happened to me, I'm lost. And that's what it is. And we have to cherish our lives and our children so that nothing like this happens to them. And if anybody knows somebody that's thinking about it or has stated, I want to cut myself, I want you to share my video because we can have knowledge of what they're doing and why, and maybe get to the root of what's aching inside of them first, so they actually reach out saying, I had something happen to me, I'm sad, I'm depressed, I feel worthless, I feel like I can't be here, I feel like I'm bad and therefore I must punish myself. And then you have to get to why. And when we get to that, we get answers before somebody harms their body and their skin. And I do not want to see this on anybody. And I don't want anybody to wear this for a resume because you don't deserve to be broken twice. Thank you.